very familiar to the rest of the world how Nigeria's economy tanked in 2015, 2016, and of course what's been done in terms of agriculture, the Anchor Borrowers Program, and the FX policy. And of course, that wasn't captured, but of course he was talking about import substitution and the ban on for FX using the official market or the interbank market to fund, to bring in about 41 items, quite a very large audience there in London last week for Nigeria. It's the last investment roadshow for Nigeria for 2017. Of course, the only other item on agenda for Nigeria for this year is the plan by the Buhari's administration to roll out a Eurobond of 5.5 billion US dollars before 2017 wraps up. That is part of the discussion. Everyone is talking about whether this will still meet the deadline set by the Debt Management Office over the next 60 days, even though Nigeria is finding it a little bit tenuous right now to borrow from the World Bank and the EFDB, considering where the state of the finance really is. But again, if you look at what some analysts are bringing out as far as the budget, and that takes us back to the budgeting process for 2017 and 2018, part of the conversation you've heard on the program, there's a deficit in terms of recurrent, in terms of revenue for the government so far in 2017. What's the timeline for 2017 budget? Is it going to be 6 months? Will there be a rollover into 2018? That is still the conversation that we expect to get. And if the president makes it good to keep to what was pledged earlier a few months ago to present 2018 budget by October 2017 and get all the works between the legislature and the executive sorted out in 60 days, the 2018 budget should be ready December the 31st, and we'll have a new budgetary calendar that will start on the 1st of January 2018. But that's still a very long way from now, considering the fact that the legislature will have to sit on that and this document will go front and back. How quickly they will do that remains everyone's guess. But if we go by the last few years, it's going to be a tough one to get this deadline done. But still a lot of issues to be discussed in the days ahead. One of the things that the current administration is also looking at in terms of diversifying the economy, side agriculture is also into mining resources, and the Honorable Minister in charge of solid minerals, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, had a little chat with Channel's news editor, Rinke Raji, in London on Friday at the Nigeria Investment Forum. Let's take a listen to this a few minutes of this discussion.
Big news here today is that everybody recognizes the importance of domestic portfolio and domestic debt rather than a focus exclusively on foreign portfolio investors. I am here basically to elaborate on the focus of the economic recovery and growth plan and how that dovetails into the roadmap for the mining industry that we develop in our sector. And just to give a picture of how Nigeria is emerging out of the storm that we've experienced over the last 2 odd years of our government coming into office and the steps we've taken in order to reverse the trend from $100 a barrel economy to a $30 a barrel economy, losing 60% of our revenue and still managing to do more in terms of infrastructure, in terms of education, in terms of healthcare, and in terms of the general reorganization of the economy. We have started on a journey that we believe is not going to be reversed, because that's one thing you need in mining. You need predictability, you need stability, you need sustainability. Unfortunately, mining is not a quick win sector. The thing to do is to make sure that the legal and regulatory framework are such that investors are not going to be afraid of any reversal or policy flip-flops, because that's something that they don't want to experience in such a sector. And that's why we've kept faith with the incentives that are contained in our mining code. 3 to 5 year tax holiday, the incentives on duty-free equipment importation. Our royalty regime is very competitive. Our ownership structure is also very pro-private sector. You can own your company 100% without any compulsion that government must take a percentage of the equity or any other person must do that. So these are things that we have entrenched. But on top of that, you know that we have the Presidential Enabling Business Council that is focusing on removing all those bureaucratic red tape that have always bedeviled ease of doing business in Nigeria. In addition to that, the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan focuses on investing in people, recovering growth, and of course, building a globally competitive economy. The mining sector is central to that process because there's nothing you can do, even in the infrastructure development initiative, which is a priority of our government. You cannot succeed in building infrastructure without paying adequate attention to mining, unless you want to import everything. You can't import the concrete, the cement, the bitumen, the limestone. You have to use it locally. And we can also use that to rebuild the economy by ensuring that our people engage more in public works. I believe Nigeria is out of the storm. That's not to suggest that we won't still experience some stormy waters, but what we don't want to experience is reversal, even if it is inching for now towards consolidating progress. We know when the fundamentals remain strong, ultimately we will get to where we want to be, 7-8% growth, and ensure that we rebuild the economy of the country by also refocusing our energy on other parts beyond oil. But we still need oil in order to build those other sectors stronger.
Nigeria's Solid Minerals Minister, Dr. Okayode Fayemide, talking about consolidation and how mining resources play into the story around agriculture and diversification of the economy. Let's take a break. When we come back, a lot of economic news. How do you trade those news? Let's look at that when we return, shall we?